Well, gang, we were going to talk about 3DoG Deluxe tonight, but unfortunately, my external hard drive crashed. I lost all my 3DoG Deluxe stuff that Kevin sent me. And because I can't show you the Vassal version in this preamp for 3DoG Deluxe, they're going to delay shipping till August on the games. Sorry. Good night. Talk to everybody later. See ya. We're going to get into a little. We're just going to show off. The creator is popped in there.
There he is.
Show off the Vassal module tonight for 3DoG Deluxe. We've Camp and I've had the honor with I'm sure some other people to get a good look at it. We haven't done anything. We haven't used this yet together. We're going to do some stuff, but we figured we'd at least with Kevin's blessing that we could get it up. Everybody can get a look at it. I mean, it'd be just like you're looking at the game, but it'll be the Vassal version of it. So I thought maybe what we'd do is we would go through, maybe put up a couple of the scenarios. Let's just see what it looks like on the map. And the first one I've got loaded. I mean, everybody's got to see that. I didn't see that coming. And then when I put it up on the screen, I was like, oh, wow, this is going to be freaking awesome for people. Big whole bunch of counters on a small little footprint map. And we'll get to that here shortly. But I thought like we would show some of the tools. We're looking at this and understand that this Vassal mod is designed with GBACW in mind, the full rules, and with simple mixed into it. But primarily it's designs for the regular GBACW. But I think Kevin's done a great job with sort of including the pieces and parts that we need for simple to be run, which is we're going to have a lot of focus on that probably the rest of this year on the simple rules and playing this stuff, because I really think it's going to be a table turner in the system. You want to go heavy, play the full rules. You want to get it done in a good, decent amount of time, or maybe even play a scenario in one night, in one sitting. Simple will take care of that itch. And we've been messing now with simple since, what, December, November, maybe?
Yeah, well, it's definitely been the beginning of this year.
Yeah,
and if you want to get McMurray to beat the crap out of you, have him play simple rules with you. He'll love you.
Yeah, it just moves right on. And like I say, we've talked about it many times. When you're playing head to head, because it's new, and Al and I are still, each time we get after it, we get a little sharper with the core rules, which I'm going to bring that up here in a second. And it gets faster and faster. But when you play by yourself and you understand the core rules, let me tell you something. You're going to fly through this system playing these things. And the results so far of anything that I've looked at or touched or messed with scenario-wise, between this one, we just got this in our hands maybe within the last couple of weeks. The Death Valley stuff and the stuff for simple that Nathan has sent over to us. I'm not getting bad results. I'm having fun with it, and I'm getting some, granted, we've always said that the first counter you move or the first dice you roll, you just change the flow of the battle, the original battle. So, but the results we're getting seem very authentic, things that could happen. I've always said about the first day of Gettysburg, I'm having a much better approach with Heath against Buford on that first day, something to me that seems more realistic with the rules they put in the simple. So with that, let me go ahead and bring on the screen here. We're going to talk about the rule book, which I'm kind of curious if the standard I haven't is the core rule book from GMT say Gettysburg on it?
Oh, interesting. I'm wondering if they have that on there for this or not. We'll see when it comes out. But
yeah, I haven't, because I didn't need to go pull, because I had the rules. We've been getting the updates on the rules. So.
Yep.
But
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure if Kevin has any insight on that. We can definitely talk to Nathan on that one. But I didn't even think of that. It says Gettysburg right there on the simple rules manual. I imagine they'll probably get some sort of generic version for the update kit, because obviously that's going to go across multiple games. But
right.
No, I was so impressed with the way the layout is. I never really looked at the details.
Let's see who we got on here. So we got Slob, first one in tonight. Chuck, Slob beat you in here. Half amateur tour guide Phil's in here. We got Kevin's on here, the developer for this mod. Chuck, good to see you, buddy. Real time, glad you joined us. And there's 19 of y'all hiding around the background. Or say hello so we know who's out here watching, who's lurking. Bob
Say
Rice.
hi,
Bob.
ask questions.
Yeah, ask questions too. If you got any questions you want to pop, especially while we got Kevin's on here, watching how long Kevin will be on here. Ray, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. So, simple version rule book. All right. You and I both have played other games throughout our ancient antiquity of life that we've had. And there are some that have had simple rules or lightweight rules. How would you say this compares with other games throughout time that we probably both played that have sort of light rules?
I think it's on par with, you know, the lighter rules of other things. Now I'll discount like and we've talked about this a little bit. Great Battles of History, you know, that those are two different rule sets. This definitely merges seamlessly between the two. You know, you can start out with the simple rules, and if you feel like going up to the full rules, you'll be able to do it. Yeah, there'll be a little bit of relearning, but there always is. But you know, there is definitely a path there for it. As I play more, I see the path and can show it. So that maybe that actually, I'm just thinking of another video maybe down the way is once we get a little bit more under our belt, is showing what that path looks like.
Yeah, it's going to be nice to get pieces when we get the deluxe, the box, to see some of these maps that they've added in there, get some pieces on it, and get some live footage, you know, of what the game looks like on a table. And
yeah.
Look, I'm going to go back, you know, to Dick straightening me out on simple rules, and me not being a believer, and now I am, and I really think that. All right, first off, the price for 3DoG Deluxe, $63, is, guys, that's amazing. Well, just what I'm looking here in this Vassal mod, I can't even imagine what that box is going to be containing for $63. And then the simple kit. Yeah,
the simple's in there. And remember too, you know, we've got the weight on the box now. They've put that out in the email. 7 pounds. 7 pounds, folks. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah. And what's the simple kit that's coming out with all that stuff is what, 55 or 50 something?
50 something. I can't remember.
Oh my God. How can you, and all the work these guys are putting into this stuff. Look, I'm going to lie to you. This game here, if that ticket was 125, I'm still buying this game. There's no doubt in my mind. And then like I say, not only are you getting the 3 days of Gettysburg, the massive rules in play, you're getting the simple version of it too.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then those of you that have Death Valley and you have the 2 mountain games, I guess, you know, there's a few of them in the back on the back burner there.
Mm-hmm.
The simple kit, if you have the games, you buy the simple kit, you got everything you need. You don't need to buy the games all over again.
Right.
And what were they saying about the, I want to say, was it Dick that said that in something on Facebook about you could, if you buy the simple kit, you'd be able to play on Vassal, regardless of the old, having the box games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because you could play right on Vassal because you'll have the battle books, you'll have the charts. And of course, you know, Vassal's going to have you the maps and the counters and everything that you need. And if it, you know, if they build out those modules or update those modules, like we're seeing with what Kevin's doing on this one, it's going to be fantastic because it's going to be, you know, everything's going to be right there for you.
And we know, okay, so we know this one's going to break the seal on simple. Not to mention an increase for Gettysburg with what they've added. The Death Valley box and some of the other boxes in the past, Death Valley and the expansion. There's so much in that, it's not funny.
Oh, yeah.
You're messing around with the Gleam of Bayonets 2. It's going to be, it'll have it. All the games going forward, Stepping into Hell, the Wilderness game is going to have it. Because let me tell you something, that Wilderness game is that and don't take this the wrong way. That game's going to be a blast, but it is a play nightmare because of the woods, the heavy, thick woods. You're going to get some serious effect in that game. But the simple rules version of that's going to make that game flow. We know we've got Clinton working on the Trans-Mississippi stuff.
Trans-Mississippi. I was just about to say that. That should be really interesting because those are smaller battles, Pea Ridge, Wilson Creek, other things like that. Belmont. That'll fit in nicely to a Saturday play or something.
Into the Woods, that want to be retrofitted. Matter of fact, we've got that, and I could have just pulled up Cedar Mountain, Valley, by Swords and Bayonets,
right there. Can't see it. Disappeared.
So much of it.
No, it was my play test book for Into the Woods. I want to get on that.
Yeah, and I still say that's one of the best games. All right, so real quick, this rule book here. So if you look on my screen there, this thing has 16 pages. Okay, 16 pages of rules. All right, well let's drop out the first 3 pages. All right, oops, because it's just explaining about the counters, how the artillery combinations work, which you're going to see a nice little feature that he's applied in here. Yep. Terminology, that's we're talking the first 3 pages. It's not until halfway down the column on the 4th page where you start the segment. So in reality, these rules aren't even 12 pages. They're 11 and a half pages, I think, or 12 and a half pages. And sequence plays cover miss. And look, guys, it's that easy. I mean, you still have the basic elements of the major rules. They've just been reduced to speed up play. And I'm telling you, like I say, because we've been fortunate enough to play it, you're not losing any of the effect of the gameplay. Right. Every set of rules you have about every game, you're going to have something you're going to like. You're going to have something you're going to be like, that don't make sense, or you just don't like the way it works. It doesn't matter to me what you play. You're going to have that. And, we have a few things that we scratch our heads about with this too. But I got news for you. Hadn't been much. And the things we did have, they either somebody identified it and they straightened it out and made it work. But I'll say it again about Nathan. If the rule's not in here, that's the rule. Yep. There's not been anything. I think they changed one rule, and that was about the changing facing during movement. Since you can change whatever you want without any cost, even in the face of the enemy, why do you have to move to your front? So I think they're dumping that one because you just pick them up and move them. So, but look, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and the other thing that's key, you mentioned about Nathan, he is a ton of support. He by himself is a ton of support for these rules. He knows these stuff inside and out, and will answer questions and point you in the right direction. And to Hexy's point, it's right in the rules. You just take the time, look through it, and you'll find it, and you'll be like, oh yeah, you know what? That is a little simpler, but I'm still able to play it. And I think you'll find that the support will be there, and the people will still be playing it, one way or another, on there. It's just a little changeover for us.
Yeah, and I honestly think that if people jump on this, I mean, I can't. I'm begging and pleading every time we get on here. You need to go buy. Even look, if you buy this thing at $63 and you don't like it, it just doesn't do for you. You're going to be able to turn around and sell to somebody else. I'm going to tell you, because somebody's going to want it. They're going to love it. Look, guys, I don't know how many major, deep, big, depth Civil War systems there are out there. The only 2 that ever come into my mind are, these things here and Line of Battle. And to me, Line of Battle just doesn't touch this if you want depth. And now we're going to give you a set of simple rules, which, unlike the great battles of history, these simple rules do transition into the full game, or vice versa. Works really, really good. So,
hey, Joe, thanks. Yep, they're pretty solid. You're absolutely right. Thanks for that confirmation.
Yep. Thanks, Joe. All right, so let's bring up the mod, and the first map I got on there. Yeah, no drift rules, Phil. Yeah, I'm curious about Stepping the Hill. Look, that premise of the drift rule, that's the mind bender for that wilderness game, and I hope they figure out somehow to put that in the simple rules. They got it one way or another. So, all right, first map I'm going to bring up. First scenario I've got set up is one that I hope everybody will, it's probably one of the first things if you're just a novice Gettysburg person. It's the one, it's probably the first thing of Gettysburg that you hear about. And I was stunned when I opened this scenario because I've never looked at it. I was stunned when I opened up this scenario tonight, and they did a one map version of Pickett's Charge. All those units right there for Pickett's Charge, the angle up in here somewhere, and they got it all on this little, looks like a card to me almost, but I mean, you're talking a mile across from Spangler's Woods and Seminary over here across to Cemetery Ridge, a mile at the most. And, if you've been to Gettysburg, it's just rolling across there like that. But they got the entire Pickett's Charge. I don't know how many turns it is. There's something up top.
Yeah. You could probably zoom in a little bit.
Yeah. I wanted to make sure they could see the whole. All right. But they've got 3 turns. They even put all the little conditions and stuff up here. Who has initiative? It's the first time I've looked at this. So, Kevin, first off, I like that. Anything you can put on the map is chart-wise or player aid-wise, I think is just phenomenal so that you're not having to flip a card over. And that's another thing, too. GBACW, you're going to have all your charts, which is really not that massive. I think there's probably 3 double-sided you need to have in your hands or a fold-out or something you need to have in your hands. Simple rules, 1 double-sided card. Covers everything you need, okay? So, and then, look, come on. They crammed all this into one map. Everything you need to play Pickett's Charge. I mean, how long did Pickett's Charge last? All right, tour guide Phil, how long was Pickett's Charge? An hour? 2 hours? What was it? Come on, historian, park ranger. I don't think it was very long. I mean, I would imagine that the majority of it was going across that field because I got a feeling what came back pretty fast. So
yeah. I think it's about 2 hours, but I'll let him chime in here. Phil knows the details.
Yeah, hopefully those of y'all that come up in October, you'll get a taste of his knowledge, which is not just Gettysburg, but so that's right. Y'all need to, those y'all that are coming, there you go, after 2 hour bomb. Yeah, 1 hour for the infantry. Yeah, I figured they probably came back across the field, those that could, faster than they went over. So all y'all start writing all your questions now so that Phil can spend the entire day not being a tour guide answering everybody's questions.
Yeah, put him in the chat now, and he's not going to take any questions in October.
All right. So now what we did notice because I asked Kevin about this right off the bat was like this 10 strength unit. I was like, well, there's no breakdown counters. And he said, no, there weren't any done for this game. And then I thought about it. I don't think, well, here's some of the Vermont regiments down here that are 13s, but the stacking is 15 in this game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the things you need to remember is if you've got units in march mode, you can still have 15 strength points in 1 hex in march mode. All right, Phil. We wouldn't do that, buddy. We wouldn't do it. He's not leaving. So, and also when you're playing this game, with the simple rules here, when you get a unit like that, if he goes over and his brigade is in attack support, and this guy moves in here, of course he'd be facing it. He'll go and he'll be in charge status. And in charge status, he can fire all 13 of those in one burst into that hex. But if he's not in a charge status and he's firing, he can only fire 7 strength points. Does that sound familiar? How they kept that rule, so to speak. So that's one of the cool things about this thing. And don't panic. You'll understand what I mean by the charge and the attack support stuff like that. It's real simple. Yeah. You're going to choose it. There's no dice rolling. There's no checking your brigade commander to see if he's going to be able to do this or not. If everything, the chain of command's all good, you're just going to say, hey, they're in attack. This brigade's in attack mode. And you start moving your units, which will be half their movement allowance. And if they close into the zone of control of an enemy unit, they get a charge marker put on them. And then sometimes that enemy unit will have a chance to retreat or run away or whatever. Artillery, cavalry, they can do it. when a unit gets within 3 hexes, an enemy unit gets within 3 hexes, they'll be able to withdraw away. So they've incorporated a lot of that. You know, these guys didn't want their guns to be taken anyhow. You know, it did happen quite a bit. They didn't want them. They didn't want them. So, but there's the Pickett's Charge one. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to pop up a couple of scenarios. We're only going to be on about an hour tonight, guys. I've got
yeah, that's good. Well, before you do that, go back and put a couple of units next to each other. Let's zoom in on it and show them some of the features, because that's the other thing.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
nice
good point.
with
Good point.
what Kevin has done.
Notice that this here, they have strength losses already on them because this is Pickett's Charge. These guys, some of these units are already beat up.
Yeah, zoom in so we can see that, and I think that's one of another key aspects here is some of the things that Kevin has put in here. I think it'll make, you know, those of you again who you know like Vassal, don't like Vassal, you know, neutral about it. I think you'll find some nice features in here with, you know, what he's done a little bit more, so we can see some of the details. Because I think once we get into right clicking on here, it'll be a little easier to see.
Go ahead.
But, yeah, one of the things that's nice. Let's see, can you see that? No, you can't see that because you've got the screen. Is when you hover over it, like hover over one of the units. You know, he's incorporated some. I think ASL started it. When you hover, can you hover over? Yeah, there you go. You see how you actually see the underlying terrain behind it. And I think ASL had started that, so it's kind of nice to see what's there. You know, is that a victory hex, or, you know, elevations, woods, you name it. You know, you can see that on there, which is kind of a nice feature. By just hovering over it, you can see what's going on behind the scenes there. So that's pretty cool. And then another thing is he's added some units like zoom in over here. Who is this here? That's over right over here to see some of these units.
There you go. You got it.
Yeah, I can just flash it, but I can't zoom in on it. You'll have to zoom in just to show the strength counters. Yeah, you can see in the corner. See how the strength counters are now offset in the lower right left-hand corner, and that's nice because when you're taking losses and stuff like that, you don't have to, you know, build up stacks like you do on the like you do with the regular game. You actually can see them right, you know, right there, and see the numbers right there as well. Then go ahead and just right click on any one of those counters and show them. He's added a lot of functionality to the counters themselves.
Oh, come on, get over there. All right, so let's go.
There you go. Yeah, just right click on one of them so we can see the pop-up menu there. Yeah, so in here you can see there's a lot of functionality in here that, you know, we had some of that before, but he's really gone to the next level with it. The fact you can, you know, when you're rotating them, obviously you can still rotate them the same way, but you can also do an about face with one click. So you don't have to, you know, fiddle through that a lot. You also have placing markers, which I think is, yeah, that one there, and all your special markers, breastworks, change orders, charge, continued shock, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, are all in one spot where you can click on to go get them, and they're all keyboarded as well. So if you're one to memorize keyboard combinations, you just, you know, just like memorizing the other stuff, and you got it all there. So, you know, those are some nice things where you don't have to go hunting for counters in the counter mix and everything like that.
And the cool thing is that you don't, you know, in previous versions, we have to go up and turn the markers field on and go digging for the markers. Now, not only do you not have to do that, it also doesn't, you know, take up more space. Especially if you only have one monitor, it's not going to take up more space. You don't have to, it's all right here. And then you can, you know, click on it like a counter and remove it when you're done. So
exactly. And, you know, one specific thing I know, which is always a hassle, is in the full version, at least, is the ammo. And if you notice, I think it's 2 lines down below, there's an ammo option there, which does everything for you. There's a plus depletion, minus depletion, and a full reset on there as well. So now it's just a couple clicks rather than, you know, hunting for counters or getting that. That's all been put into one area. Now, one other thing that I've liked playing around with this since he sent it to us, if you go down a couple more, you'll notice there's a fired button. And if you click on that, see, you get a nice visible red X, red and blue X on the counter that has been fired right over your strength point.
Which I've been using daylights out of that for artillery.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's really a nice feature that he's had in there. I know we had it before. Stigler had put it in before. My only problem with it was very small. I couldn't see it. And I got good eyes. I mean, some of you guys know that, some of that stuff is super small and you can't see it. So, he's kind of brightened it up, made it visible for us, and really looks good. Now, another thing I'll point out here too, he's also, we're talking simple rules too. He's also incorporated simple markers. So if you go down there, actually, yeah, you'll see there's an option there to place simple markers, your charge markers and your rally markers and your target markers.
Which I had to scratch my head first about the target markers. Then I remembered you got to identify what you're charging, which the charge marker will take care of that. But what you're shooting at, you also, when you got to remember when you execute an activation and you're moving your brigade, obviously you're going to be moving the whole division, but you're moving a brigade at a time. You're going to have guys that are disordered, and you execute all these things within that activation phase. It's not all these little separate things that are eked out into segments that you got to do in a certain order. You can move or you can rally, okay, and then you can move and then fire under certain circumstances, or you can not move and then fire, but you're going to do it all within one little window once you start your activation. Obviously, fire comes after any movement, okay? And then when you fire, when you do this fire combat, you're gonna pick to go either from left to right or right to left. That's just the way they've laid it out. I think that's in the rule book too. So you really got to think about, do I want to start up top shooting or do I want to start at the bottom shooting? Because you might want to get certain units out of certain places before other ones execute. But this little window right here, look, guys, that's it. There's your simple rules counters right there in that one little window, okay? And I mean, when a guy's charged, you're going to take that arrow, and if there is let's put Garnett here.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. Oh, wrong button, dummy. All right. When you place that, like I say, if these guys are in it, where's their leader? Give me a leader.
What are you looking for?
I got him right here. Standard.
The leader.
Yeah, so you're executing your move. You decide to move standard first. You're going to put him in. You're going to put him in attack. All right, and let's say that this guy they start back here and he starts moving. He's going to move half. He's going to go one, and then say he goes into here. He's closed into the 6 surrounding hexes of an enemy, and you're going to put him in charge mode. And then you're going to point that charge, and this is part of the rules. You're going to point that charge marker at that unit, okay? And then this guy here, 1, 2, he's going in. We're going to go down here to our simple GBA. We're going to put the charge on there, and we're going to make the charge unit face into that hex. So now this guy's got 2 people charging him, okay? Your leader can be on. I will say the one thing that I wished we could, for simple, that's not in here, is at the end, maybe a button or something that would, does that do it?
Look up at the top.
Activation. Oh, maybe it is. Hold on, let me see. No, okay. All right, is in order to take you, at the end of your phase, you remove these attacks. And I meant to ask Kevin about that. So, but in order to do, you're going to change orders, you got to go through March first and then out of it. And I'm thinking, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, just to point that out, there are some remove markers at the top. There isn't one for the simple rules, but we'll add that to our email to our next email to Kevin about having that in there. So he has incorporated some of that stuff in there, and still evolving this as we have a little bit more time before the game hits the streets here in April.
Yeah. So I mean, you've got everything is in that. I mean, everything you need is in that simple window right there. If you're going to choose, you're doing your movement, you want to choose to rally a guy, put a rally marker on top of him so that you know when the phase ends and you move the whole division, you know, oops, that guy he attempted a rally. He can't do anything. He can't move or he can't fire.
Yep.
So, and also your leader rally, you know, you move your leader to a unit you want to rally. You always move the leader first to help, and then he can attempt to help rally the unit after he moves. So, and you're just going to get a +1 on the, or -1 on the cohesion die roll. Real simple. There's no fancy. There's no big old chart you got to look at to figure out what to do. The only thing, matter of fact, the only thing they have a step chart for is retreat, I think, right? Disorder and retreat. Like we had the second disorder table, the big massive table.
Yep.
That's been condensed to like what, 4 lines with 2 columns?
Something like that. It's on the back of the battle book. That plus the sequence of play and something else is on the back of the battle book there. So it's condensed down a lot. So Hex, one thing I meant to ask you, I've been playing around with this because I just discovered it. Did you play around with the show hide range option there at the top?
Yeah, let me zoom out just a little bit. Yeah. So you have that button on here that says show or hide range. Right, this guy's got a range of 13. Looky there.
Yep, that's an artillery unit, so
yep,
he has a longer range.
Now, what I'm wondering is this infantry unit right here.
Yep.
All right, so he's firing rifles. He's got a range of 5, but you'll notice when you look here, it'll say 5 and 2.
Yep.
And I don't know, is the 2 is it their pluses? They get a plus at 2 hexes, or
no? Think what else? What other type of fire? For full rules now, you got to think back to full rules. When you're close into an enemy unit, what extra bonus do you get for shooting? Prep fire. I mean,
weapon type, right?
Well, no, prep fire.
Oh, thank you. 2 hexes for prep fire.
Yeah.
There we go. He says it.
I said the same. The reason why I said it that way is because I saw it the same thing. I'm like, why is there a 2 there?
Yeah, I kept trying to associate it with the simple rules. Is that put in there for the simple rules? I said, no, wait a minute, because the rifles can shoot 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a full rules thing, but you know, it the way he's got it there, it looks okay. But it's 2 for prep fire, because if you go over to, I think, muskets, if you find somebody with a musket, which is tough, you'll probably see him as 1 is whatever, 4 and 1 or something like that, 3 and 1.
Yeah, this is too late. Oh, here we go. Got one right here. A Union, a Yankee boy.
Oh, okay.
Let me zoom in on him.
Yeah.
2 and a 1, yeah.
2 and 1.
So that's a cool little feature, you know. And we saw this in Mark's with the command radius in Mark's game.
Yep. Yeah, so, exactly. The whole radius piece of it there. I kind of like that, you know, for showing, you know, when you're in range. And I think, wait a minute, let me look over here.
It's best with the artillery. I'm trying to figure out what you can hit.
Yeah, Kev's chiming in there. Yeah, you were trying to be clever, Kev, with that. I was just looking if you did it for the leaders, but it doesn't look like it's on the leaders, but that's okay. That's okay. Future.
Range is 25. Well, if that doesn't help you figure out what you can shoot at or not, that's good. That there is and I was having issues with it at first, but I think Kev got it straightened out. I think maybe also too the JavaScript heap that you were telling me about. I changed mine up to 2 gigs.
Yep.
And I think that might have helped on my end too. But nice little cool features, especially that show hide range is a good one. And having all of our counters. See, we had the send them right to the eliminated box. Show or hide. So let's take these guys over here. Let's take this guy here. If you don't want to see that counter, which if you want to make it easy yourself, so like you set this, you come on Vassal and you set up Pickett's charge, and you want to play with simple rules, just go right down here and hide the strength point marker. You don't have to remove it. You have to do nothing because your strength points are going to be tracked on the leaders.
Yeah, if you go to your leader, you'll see there's an option for strength points.
Place it. Oops, what did I just do? Oh, it puts it underneath him.
Yeah.
And that's how you track your losses in this game is on the leader. So you're not going to have all these, even playing tabletop, you're not going to have all these massive stacks of units with strength point marker losses or anything that you got to pick them up every time and look at them. This guy here will always fire in charge with a 9, and he'll fire in just regular fire without charge, strength of 7 always. But don't be fooled. You'll be like, here's how I look at it. When you hit attrition and you got to remove a unit to get that attrition number down below 7, somebody had asked me about that. I think one of the first nights we messed with this. I look at it as that unit up front that took the losses, and we removed another unit. That was just his troops being put into that regiment to replace the losses that regiment had. That's how I look at it. They were filling the gap with that regiment. That's how I look at it. And amazingly enough, this works out really, really good in this system. So.
Yep. No, it does. It does. So there's a lot of nice features that I think will help, speed up play in the Vassal module, as well as help with the learning of it too, because you'll have, buttons right there to place counters. And you won't have to go hunting for them when you get in there. So a bunch of stuff on there. Leaders have their own, set of functionality there too, as Hexy showed, that you get on there as well.
Yeah, you've got all your normal stuff, your shocks and your fatigue and stuff like that. Increased shock. Oh, so you can mark their shock count, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's very nice addition. I don't know if I remember seeing that one.
Oh, you talk about activations and shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of a hidden feature in some of the old ones. You had to, I figured it out. Somebody told me, I forget who it was now, but you had to reset the counters. When you reset counters on one of the old modules, it would actually pull up the activations and the shocks and allow you to track them over in there.
I always used the little paper chart that I always had,
Oh, yeah.
That Dick had sent me and Fernbacker had sent me a while back.
Yep.
Delete. He's even kind enough to put, when you hover over delete, to put yes, delete. Oh, he's gone. I'm going to bring him back. Hit that undo button. All right. So, yeah, I mean, also there you go. So for simple players, if you're going to do this on Vassal, which I know I'm getting to that phase now where the big games, big campaign, big battle type stuff, it's going to have to be Vassal, because I'm just not going to be sitting that 5x6 foot table up anymore and taking a game down before I get done. At least on Vassal, it'll be saved. I watched some guy today who's fairly new to doing content creation for. He's doing a great job too. His name's Punched. He's playing Spring Prelude and Armor Knights right now. He was going through his checklist of his latest video of the gaming components or stuff he keeps around for player aid stuff. And I'm like, yep, I recognize every one of those things, and I'm so doing all of that nowadays. So, hey, Fateful Lightning is a good game, Slav. You got a copy of that? I'll see somebody selling that cheap. Simple looking, but it's a fun game. All right, so there you go. There's your menus. Your draw pool stuff up top. You see, most of the scenarios are already going to have what you need out. All right, pick an Ethan Pender, and then all those second core, sixth core, first core dudes.
Oh, I know one up on the top that's good, that's new, which is very, very clever, Kevin. The show leaders. You played with that, Hexy?
Yeah.
Okay. It took me a while to get this, but when I got it, I'm like, oh, this is the best thing. One of the best things about this. He has got it so it isolates the leaders. So you just see where all the leaders are. You can even see your core leaders. You can see Hancock over there on the right, and then you see all the divisions and everything else. Think about when you're doing your out of command segment, whether that's in simple or in full rules. How much easier when you can just look at where my leaders are. Okay, very easy. You don't even have to count hexes in some of them. Some of them you just look at it like, oh yeah, Hancock's got all those guys in command, or Longstreet or whomever, Pickett over there. You could see it nicely within here. Real good. I like that, Kevin, once I figured it out.
It was a great little addition.
Yep.
And I didn't put the 2 and 2 together. That is a great way to check your in command and out of command ranges.
Yep. Oh, and he's also got one for the objectives too. Yeah, right next door to it, there's one for objectives. He'd be put it in the chat.
Yeah, they're the flags.
The
Wait a
shows.
minute. Wait a minute. I got a complaint, Kevin. I got a complaint. Why aren't these counters rounded? Get your Vassal clipper out and get these counters rounded.
You're 3.0, right? That's 2.5. The 3.0.
So you're
for Hexy, he wants 3.0.
Didn't we? How do you do it? Oh, so you hold Shift and click on it, and then we can change it to how it should actually have been. So. Now,
oh, you've got multiples. You're selecting multiples.
Yeah.
That's why it's flipping them.
Yeah, we can change how that should.
Uh-oh. We've got our first little first little point of contention with this. Nah, looks great. Looks great, Kev. These features, if you didn't get it from me, I like some of these little features. It just helps so much playing the game.
Yeah. Now, all these C setup things on here, don't freak out about it. You're not repositioning the units. Most of these I've noticed are leaders, and your setup rules say, within 1 hex of any unit from the brigade or whatever, or division or whatever like that. So I haven't caught one yet where maybe the cav where you have the ability to rearrange your units. I like the fact that the regiments are placed where the regiments start, and then I can just shift my leaders around because the leaders are constantly mobile anyhow. So
yeah.
All right, so there you go. Pickett's charge, guys, on one. Wait, hey, what's the measurement of this map, Kev? Do you know? I'm just curious.
Oh, the map measurement, yeah. I don't know. It's a good question.
17 by 12, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, looking at this, let me zoom out on mine here.
Not very big, that's for sure.
And I know they're wider hexes too. On the real map, it's wider hexes. Obviously, you don't see it here on the Vassal mod, but the real thing is supposed to have wider hexes from the pictures I think Dick has posted either on Facebook or ConSim.
You notice the Whitworths up here?
Yeah.
Up on Oak Hill that have like a 7,000 yard range, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, one of the things I'm going to do is look back on the full map and put the Whitworths on and put the show range on it to see that it can hit a little round top from Oak Ridge.
Yeah, it won't highlight for him.
Nah, he's in a special window there.
Oh, it might be too that. Yeah, they won't. Not for him. Okay. Let's see what this guy does. Yep, look at that guy. He can hit it.
Can hit anything.
So the show leaders, the range button, providing the simple marker thing in one little dropout for us is great. All the additional stuff. Look, they even put the abandoned markers in there.
Yep.
For artillery. Send to the eliminated box, flip them to the disordered side. Yeah, you guys have done, I tell you, they've come a long way, and you guys are doing such a great job. Let's take a gander at, let's close that one.
I'll look at another scenario.
Let's take a gander at, let's do the 4 map one.
Oh yeah, because we could look at the cavalry map too. I haven't looked at the cavalry stuff. I'm wondering if he's got some nice new functionality in there too.
Look at this setup. Look at all that cavalry spread across McPherson's Ridge up to Oak Hill. Which, by the way, when you get a chance to play this, Devin, where's it? Gamble. Devin, at 9 a.m., he gets yanked off the map and sent over yonder to screen. Because apparently they know that Rhodes or Early is coming from somewhere up there. So, but okay, so this is probably a lot of what we're used to seeing in the regular 3DoG that the previous 3DoG that we had to play. There's Gettysburg, Cemetery Hill, Little Round Top, Devil's Den. Little Round Top, Devil's Den, Big Round Top. All right, Warfield Ridge over here. We're the second day. Longstreet's Assault over here. all the way down the Emmitsburg Pike and the Taneytown Road. All right, we're used to all of our reinforcements coming in down this way. And there's the funny squiggly to get your troops so you can get them moving. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, it would extend over here, Culp's Hill. And then we got Benner's Hill over here,
Hill.
Wolf's Hill or something like that over here.
Yep.
But then they took it out here to the fourth map. And somewhere over here, I want to say, was it Kilpatrick over here somewhere just hovering around?
It's off of Low Dutch Road. Keep going there. See where there's a cluster of American flags. And Low Dutch Road. And then Crest Ridge right there in the right here. Well, I can flash it. Right here. This is where the cavalry engagement was, right in.
Oh, the actual East Cavalry Field fight. I've never been over there.
Oh, I mean, it's not big. It's very small, but it's beautiful. Beautiful spot.
Let's see what do we got here? David. He is a wealth of knowledge.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Whitworths. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I always wondered about that. How much? Because I saw some of the rounds. They shot like canonical, right? I mean, they shot like bullets.
Well, they were bolts. They didn't really shoot a shell or shot or anything like that. They were like a twisted bolt. It's like you took iron and just kind of twisted it to fit, to fit the rifling. It was kind of odd, but I agree with Dave. What David's saying. It wasn't very accurate because a lot of those landed in the town and all over the place.
Yeah, you got to wonder. I mean, what were those created for anyhow? Because they weren't very efficient apparently.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, look at all that. So there's your fourth map that's been added.
Yeah.
Right
now. Yeah. Well, the other thing that gets me is if you're a real person who wants to have a different type of battle, think about now what you can do on the east side of Gettysburg and the what if situations with the 5th Corps and the cavalry, the 12th Corps as they're coming on because they were coming in over there.
You bring up a good point because and Phil can correct if I'm wrong. Now I know the argument between 12th and 11th and all that crap, but didn't 12th Corps when they first came on, they had elements I don't know where. Maybe it was they moved up through here, and then they ended turn around going back, or was it up through here? Or something?
No, they went all the way up to. Where am I here? Let me flash it. Hold on. They went all the way up here to not quite to Benner's Hill, but right in here, right around Daniel Lady's farm, right in through here.
Because they talked about early dispatching. Was it Smith?
No, Gordon.
He just after Gordon had that fight.
Well, that's one of the reasons, and Phil's going to correct me if I'm absolutely wrong here. Gordon moved over there, and that's one of the reasons why didn't really attack Cemetery Hill on that first day, because Gordon was over there because they were worried that there was going to be somebody coming down there, and they go into attack, and all of a sudden they're flanked, and there was a real big worry from Ewell's standpoint that they were going to get hit over there. So Gordon was stationed over there. So one of the best brigades, wasn't available for the fight.
I remember playing Terrible Swift Sword, the original, the SPI version, the original one, that Smith's brigade was held for provost use.
Yes, and eventually they came up. Yep. Here's Phil. Phil's jumping in here. Thanks, Phil, for confirming it, because my brain isn't what it used to be. But Smith eventually was moved up there with Gordon because they were so concerned between the cavalry and what Williams had done, and then with the 5th Corps moving up there through the night of 1st and 2nd, that they kept units over there just for that purpose. And it took them out of the fight for Culp's Hill.
A lot of the argument about the first day is being lost, so to speak, was that this needed to happen right through here.
Yep.
And it that's where you see the scene with, was it Trimble in the movie Gettysburg talking to General Lee about throwing down his sword, blah 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 blah, and that hill could have been taken, and then through the night, the remnants of 11th and First Corps are up here digging in, and still, I mean, I don't know how that line was stretched, but I still want to say that Culp's Hill was probably fairly open.
Yeah, because it just had remnants of 1st Division, 1st Corps. The Iron Brigade was up there, and it wasn't extended until the 12th Corps got there.
Let's take a look at there's your standard turn track. You gotta love that's one of the things that GBACW got right. Our turns and everything's done with activations, but then after, some big massive. You remember the Terrible Swift Sword ran all the way down the bottom map every 20 minutes you had.
Yeah. You want to know how many times we wiped that out when we were playing that?
Yeah, oh my God! Or bumped the freaking casualties and the ammo count charts.
Yep.
And then I had to ask about these because I for some reason I couldn't associate them. But these are your turn tracks for some of the smaller games.
Yep.
Or some of the scenarios. There's Pickett's Charge, 3 turns. So if you just want to use this one, or you can use the big one if you want. But they're in here to make that easier. I mean, you come on, it doesn't get any better than that. The other thing too is you're going to find the scenario notes, the special rules notes. I'm sorry, guys, there's no tables and charts here. They don't do that. I don't know if the packs will be in here when Kev decides to release it or not. You don't want to do that. You don't want to just give a free game away for everybody and their brother. Okay, especially when you can download the core rules for free. But he puts he puts special notes in here to get started on the scenario, things to remind you of. And on that Pickett's Charge map, though, he had them on the map, and that was really, really cool. He said that was Dick's creation. I thought that was awesome.
Yep.
What do we got over here? Let's see. Road list for the battle book. Okay, Carlisle, Hanover, Moonsburg, Taneytown Road.
Oh yeah, it extends all the way. I'm thinking of just getting the game just to get the maps and cutting them up and putting them together. So when I'm down there, when I take a trip down there, I can use them while they're there because I think they're that good. I mean, I think the elevations, the wood lines, and everything there, are accurate, especially with how they've cleaned it up with this version. That I could see using that to visualize what it looked like with today's environment.
Thanks. I'm not gonna lie to you. Watching the movie Gettysburg is fun, but anybody that is even the slightest tinge of Civil War knowledge is going to pick that goddamn thing apart so much it's not fun. And I do it constantly. When Todd and McMurray were here, we watched it. Poor McMurray's so sick he kept falling asleep, but we watched it. And Todd had a million questions about it, and I did the best I could with him. That's when I should have hired Phil instead of going to Gettysburg and come down here and watch the movie with us to explain everything. So that's what I should have done. But I mean, like I say, it's fun. Somebody did one. There's a movie, not perfect, but it's still kind of fun to watch. Some of the discussions and arguments that they have about things, and you can definitely tell that a good portion of that is from the Confederate perspective until you get to Chamberlain and Buford on the first day. Those things right there. And the Biggest Charge, you get a little mixture of everything. So Early had no idea. Agreed. What might be lurking beyond the town. It's likely if he had gone for Culp's Hill on the first day, he would have been driven off. I'm wondering too, because once 12th Corps decided to, so they backtracked all the way back down and then eventually come up the pike.
Yep.
And I know that 1st and 11th were stretched pretty strenuously there towards the evening of the first day. And I mean, you still, if I remember right, I mean, Early, was he beat up? I know he took some losses. Pender.
He was one of the, I mean, Early, I think, was one of the fresher units. I mean, I think, he had his initial attack against the 11th, but that folded pretty quickly because of Ames' deployment and, the fight through there. But he was still in pretty decent shape. But the problem was Ewell didn't have all 3 of his divisions up there. He only had Early and Rhodes. And Rhodes was beat up. Rhodes was done for the day, given what he went through over on Oak Ridge. But Johnson was stuck in the traffic jam between Chambersburg and Gettysburg. You know,
Yeah, because outside of roads and early, everything for the Confederacy.
Yep, was coming down that road right there. Yep.
Yeah,
he was stuck on that sheets back between Chambersburg and Gettysburg. You know, he couldn't get through the traffic through there, and he didn't get there till night. So, you know, Ewell only had 2 of his 3 divisions. And
he went right into the Culp's Hill deployment once he arrived. Another division that arrived, I want to say he arrived before Johnston and never got used, was Anderson.
Yeah, yep, he came late too. He was part of that traffic jam and didn't get in there quickly as well.
Because I mean, they could have put you know, all the discussions about should we have moved Second Corps around to the right? Should we have sent Anderson over to help the Second Corps take East Hill, East Cemetery? All those, you know, we can't. How can we assess that? We weren't standing on that battlefield.
No.
You know, we don't know what Lee saw. Not like he had a radio talking to freaking Ewell,
right?
You know, on the other side of town or earlier on the side of town, and you know.
But we have one thing that they don't have that we can do this over and over again, and that's 3DoG.
Yep. I think one of the most entertaining and interesting experiences I ever got, not playing, but watching somebody play a Gettysburg game, was McMurray and Tom playing the Most Fearful Sacrifice. And Callendale, when he played Line of Battles, Last Chance for Victory, I never thought that I could see those things happen at Gettysburg.
Oh, so, yeah. No, definitely, you know, Wardrobe and McMurray, that's definitely something to watch. If people haven't seen it, they should link it to my stuff, because it's great. You know, they really went in. Well, McMurray was McMurray.
He's aggressive. He plays.
Yep.
That's when he hesitated playing you in that game, and I was like, "What? This isn't Andrew." Yeah, if y'all need to, Phil, you need to tell them what that one is about the Anderson's guys on July 2nd, the Cemetery Bridge line, because that is. I was glad that you sent that to me to read. That was a great read. So.
Oh, in the Gettysburg magazine, yeah,
he's got a nice article. A lot of he covered all the things that a lot of people don't. You know, I always love to read that stuff too, about other formations that, you know, weren't as well known or discussed as much. Wilcox's Brigade, thanks. Yeah. So, Early didn't have all his corp. Nope, roads had been roughed up on Oak Hill and to the north of the town. Those artillery spread out. Yeah.
Rhodes was pretty much in trouble after his attack. Iverson was gone. You know, he got slaughtered there.
Look, I know a lot of you guys want to see some play tonight, but the play wasn't on my mind. We're going to be doing a bunch of it ourselves, Alan. We need to, because I think, you know, you figure if 3DoG ships to us next month, this is going to come out at the same time, and we kind of want to get some more into it. But so really, all we're doing is we haven't had a chance to evaluate, and I doubt I will attempt to do that, because I'm not the historian. I'll leave that to the people that know this stuff, and I'm not going to get my atlas out and start going over where every unit is at every second of the day. It's not, looking at this is not about how things are set up, but just how the mod performs. And I know that we've had 3 versions that Kevin's provided us with, just to catch a few things. He's just cleaning up some stuff. I will say this one's performing really well right now. Yeah. And it's just us looking at, you know, are the tools working? And like I say, now with this latest version, I'm not seeing any issues. I'm not seeing any blips in the graphics.
No.
And the only thing that like I said, I had that question for was the orders thing on the leaders. Is it that big a deal? No, just click it twice.
Yep.
But, you know.
Yeah, no, I've had the same thing. The module is there. There's a few minor things. Kev, if you're still listening, I got an email and I'm going to get you minor things that I think you can correct pretty easily. But it's like any, you know, this is a big deal, guys. You know, putting this together. If you've ever used Vassal, if you ever tried to use Vassal, go in there behind it. This is like computer programming. There's a lot of work behind it to get all the graphics in there, to get all of the the functionality that we just showed in there, you're spending a lot of time. So, these guys do a lot. So Kevin's done a lot for this. He is definitely taken it up a number of notches to make this there. So there's going to be a few little things here, but the core stuff, you can play the game, you can play the scenarios, in here and have some fun with it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think you can get a lot more done using the simple rules. Hair, so that's all we have access to. We don't have the physical game yet, but what you're looking at here, just take it out of the screen and set it on your table, and this is what we're looking at, when you get the box, of course, with all the documentation and everything. So
yeah, and I'm going to be setting up all these maps. Unlike Hexy, who's not going to set up the 6-foot table, I've got my 4 4x2s ready to go.
Yeah, but you know me, I say one thing and 10 minutes later I'm doing something else. So, but look, I'm gonna say it again, guys. If you don't have this, I don't even care if you're just a little tiny bit skeptical about this. I'm telling you, grab this box. Grab this box. If you like the Civil War at all, grab the Simple Rules kit. Get the pre-order. Get them on their own pre. Come on, the 2 of them together on pre-order is $118, I think. The 2 of them. Mm-hmm. And if you remember the Death Valley box when you got it, how big that thing was. Now you're going to get a simple retro kit to fit all of that, plus Into the Woods, plus the 2 mountainy gap games, the expansion for Death Valley and some other stuff. And then in this 3DoG box for $63, you're going to get this whole freaking big Civil War game with the full rules, and you're going to get the simple equivalent to go with it. That's just so much stuff for that price. You just, come on, $115? Hell, I think it costs that much to fill up your gas tank right now. So to something else useful.
Easily.
Yeah. And look, I'm not going to, one thing I will say about GMT is their components for games are nice. They're very well done.
Oh, yeah.
I love their counters. They clip so nicely with my 3.0s. So, and they do a great job with their paper maps. These maps look great. I mean, you tell me. And it's not a knock. We know my opinions right now. Line of Battle. I'm still waiting to see the new rules, but those Line of Battle maps can't touch this.
Yeah,
not for color, and I can tell what things are. I know that the darker the color, the higher the hill. All right, I can tell there's an orchard. I can tell there's a rough terrain.
Thanks, Chuck. See you later.
All right, Chuck. Even Chuck, who's not into this, still comes and watches. So.
Oh yeah. We'll get him back.
Yeah, we're gonna drag him in one way or another. So I think simple rules will do it. But yeah, that's it, guys. We just wanted to go through. Maybe let's take a quick little look at you got the first day's light when Harry met John.
Yeah, take a look. Actually, what I'm playing with right now that I was playing with this afternoon is I died facing the enemy, something like that. Pull that one up. That's not. That's an even smaller one than Pickett's Charge. There's some nice detail on that. This is one I'm looking at it. It's a 2-turn scenario. It's a small map. I mean, this is something. I wouldn't call it an introductory scenario because there's a little special rules with night and things like that. But if you're looking for a nice, small, less than a dining room table, a coffee table, if you wanted.
This is what we were talking about a minute ago too, isn't it?
You could play this on there, and this is what I've started playing with it because I'm interested in this piece of it. The whole East Cemetery Hill battle is fascinating. Reading about that, and probably Phil's over there. He can probably set you straight with all that. It's as fascinating as Pickett's Charge, and to have this on here, have this detail, because you actually see the Evergreen Cemetery and all the bits and pieces of it there. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's a really nice looking scenario to play.
I watched, I don't know, it was on YouTube or something. Somebody did a documentary on apparently today, and I don't know because I know they've done a lot of like I know over in the Devil's Den area and that area, they're knocking a lot of the woods away to make it resemble what it looked like in July of '63. But I remember watching somebody talking about the canopy and stuff there really wasn't that heavy canopy on Cemetery Hill.
No.
At all. So
well, it's all eaten out by the farm animals and other animals around there.
So this map does a great job because there's not a whole lot of on this side of the hill over here. There's just not. And when you drive there today, there's actually tree lines and stuff like that. But so
yeah, well, that's one area that's becoming my favorite area over in there these days.
I agree. I agree.
Explore through there, all the way over to Culp's Hill and around.
Yeah, I should probably watch it. Maybe I will turn that on. That I haven't watched one. I want to see this Cole Hudson kid play. Yeah, all right. So yeah, we've a little more than an hour, guys. I just wanted to get this up, show y'all what the Vassal mod looked like, what to expect with. And like I said, I mean, you just that scenario list alone, there's 15 scenarios just in that. Now, granted, some of those are the full shebang, but yeah, you're getting quite a package here. And who says you can't create your own? You know,
exactly
all this stuff. So either one, Nordic. But if you made me choose one as the best, it's Rostov. So. All right, so we're gonna kill this. Appreciate y'all popping on here tonight. Get yourselves over to GMT while you still can.
$62.
Yes, right. $63. Get it on order, and while you're there, go ahead and drop through. Hey, we're not getting anything for this. We get the pleasure of looking at the Vassal mod. We're not going to get our games any earlier than anybody else, and we're not getting free copies of them. We're buying our games. So get over there and get them, and pick up the retro kit for the simple stuff. All right, we're going to shut this down. Appreciate y'all popping on here tonight. Kevin, thanks for all the good work.
Thanks,
Phil,
thanks, Kevin.
Out there. And we'll talk to you all later. We'll probably get something going on for Saturday, I hope.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Talk to y'all soon.